Hey everybody, this is Lisa, the Quilt Wizard. I was asked to do a video of using Quilt Path to do cross-hatching. I'm going to show you how to do that using marking tool. In order to stitch out my marking tool lines, I want to be in Select and Sew. And Select and Sew forces you to select a pattern even though we aren't going to stitch it out. So we'll just pick a pattern here and open it. Okay. Now we're going to ignore this pattern, so I could actually move it up and over out of our way a little bit. We're going to stitch out our crosshatch in this block right here. This is a cheater panel from Marshall Dry Goods, but it's a great way to practice all the different things that we can do with Quilt Path and everything else. Now in Quilt Path, I'm going to open my toolbox and I'm going to select marking tool, and I'm going to start adding markings. I'm going to move my machine to my top left corner, where my needle is, top left corner, and I'm going to add a point. Next, I move my machine to the bottom right corner of this block, and I'm going to add another point. And you can see it gives me that long diagonal across the block. Now, if I had actual piecing here, if it wasn't a cheater printer panel, I might go ahead and put a point at each one of these, but you want to be careful that you don't get jagged lines when you do that. Next, I move over to this next square right here, and I'm going to add a point, and up on the diagonal, and add a point there, and that gives me my second diagonal. I would continue in this manner, adding points until I filled my entire crosshatch grid. The last thing that I probably would do would be go all the way around the block so that we get, fill in all the sides, we get a nice stitch in the ditch all the way around. Go from corner to corner, adding points until we get all the way around our block. There, our block is ready to stitch out with a nice stitch in the ditch around the outside. With actual piecing, it probably would be a little bit easier to be more accurate on this outside edge, but you get the idea of what I'm doing here. Now I'm ready to stitch it out, and I want to go over here and change. I want to stitch out my markings. I don't want that pattern to stitch out, so I'm going to uncheck pattern and check markings, and then I'm going to press quilt, and there's our pattern ready to sew out. There's our finished cross-hatching using Quilt Path. Didn't even have to get out a ruler. So give it a try and let me know what you think. Happy quilting!